Hi, I'm Ernest, a bamboo specialist and farmer. I love bamboo first because of its versatility in matters climate change, resilience to climate change, care of our environment, and also giving us the forest cover that we are looking for. Besides that, bamboo is the only plant that will be harvested sustainably for more than 80 years and you are home and dry. So I love bamboo for its promise of wealth. And this is my story. My journey on bamboo farming started way back in 2004. I had gone to a place in Nakuru. I went into an hotel and I found it was with Asian type of foods and all. So somebody had just mentioned to me that bamboo is food. So I asked somebody, it was a joke actually, and I said, me I want to eat bamboo. So, all of a sudden, a lady who was a Chinese lady who was just seated there, I think they had something to do with the hotel. She held my hand, took me somewhere and asked me, "Do you mean you know about bamboo shoots?" I told her, "Yeah, I do. Can you get me at least a ton a week?" Hey, I went berserk, so I said, "So there is money in this." Then I asked her, how much are you ready to pay for a ton? And she said, "Well, we can discuss good money." So I told her, "Can you give me a week, then I'll get back to you." So from then, it became like a seed in me. And I decided, I think this is the best plant I'll take up. I did my studies. I realized this is the only one crop that will save the world, because everybody is diminishing all the forests that we had. I am so much engulfed into nature. I love nature, I loved forests, and I used to even take picnics into forests, even with animals, and I didn't worry. So I called after a week and I told her, now we can talk this after 3 years because that is the maturing period of bamboo, and here people are not doing bamboo. When I was given this challenge of how much bamboo is needed and in continuous supply, I had to now look for ways and means of how I can get farmers into getting into this, so that maybe I can also find a job by marketing the product. After talking to farmers, farmers are very hard to take new things, because they are used to maize and beans and all that. And then they look at, if I plant like a whole acre, if it was in something foodstuffs, planting trees will be different. But generally here people, because they love trees, some said they will try. And it is from there now, I said, if I can convince 10, then I can convince even 100. If people were knowledgeable enough to go into bamboo, we can reduce that in a very big way. The other thing is conservation, and the most important thing is, you see this one is harvested, you still have bamboo for tomorrow. And what matters here is we have lost forest cover. With bamboo, you have a forest cover throughout. And if you can see here, so that's why I turned to bamboo, because if you plant other trees, like people are going into eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is actually a problem, because once you plant eucalyptus, the time it gets mature, and that is after 7-8 years, once you cut, to get another one is a problem. So with bamboo is different. It takes only 3 to 4 or 5 years. It's a short period, short-term plant to mature. Secondly, once it matures, it's as hard as metal. This is something that is finding space in the building industry. Even building structures and replacing metal in some places for holding concrete. I did some research and found that even in Japan, there are some houses now that they are relying on bamboo and turning away from metal. We still can get beautiful products that can find space in the niche shops. For instance, if you see, I'll show you my belt, which is a handmade thing. Look at this. I think even the beauty. This is, if you sell this actually, you get good money. This will take somebody, like some trained guys around. It will take him like a day in preparing, but the following day, he'll come out with 10. So if you sell this even at a retail price of 500 per belt, you see that is somebody in employment, and it goes even beyond. We have products, over 1,000 products can be gotten from bamboo, handmade, something that can be done in a village and find space out there. Lack of jobs will create the need for bamboo. When they are trained, they will now start consuming bamboo at local level. That is the first market. When we get people doing these things that we are telling them, in fact, you'll be looking for where to get bamboo and you won't get, because the uptake is now bypassed by the youth. And that is what is happening today. What you have found here will go all the way to Meru. Somebody needs that. There is somebody else who needs the same in Athi River. So in a short while, you'll see that we don't have enough to sell, because now telling somebody to wait for 6 months, it's actually a hard thing, because this after 6 months, it will now be fully again, it will be mature enough. If one wants to venture into bamboo farming, it's very easy. First of all, we tell you the mathematics of expectations even at a village level, because bamboo will always find work, from fencing, that's the simplest, to building good structures, houses and all that. The only tricky part is it has to be treated against all the pests. So when you cut it, you leave it for a week, you'll find it infested with pests. So you have to treat it out of that. If you want to venture into this, all you need is, you can start with 1 acre or even have an acre. 1 acre will take 250 stumps. As a beginner, for the first harvest, you should expect something like 20 calms per tree, per stump. 20 calms for the whole acre, you will have 5,000 calms. With the 5,000 calms and you are selling at 50 shillings, you are able to get way over 200,000, and that is good for a farmer. The second harvest you should expect for these very hardy species, you can do once a year. But for the softer ones, the whole ones, you can harvest every 6 months. And the next harvest, you have an expectation of an addition like of 30%. So you continue getting more and more. In the end of, say, like the 6th year, you should be getting something like 1.2 million per acre. So that is when you sell steadily. So it's a good crop, I can say, because if you did maize, we talk of something negligible. The other thing is, this one is also offering other services like environmental services. By the time, say, like 2,000 farmers will agree to get into this, and we have like 1,000 acres, we are able now to negotiate for carbon credits, because that is another additional money without even selling anything. with your green study on the farm. There is no plant that has a better conversion for oxygen than bamboo. The other thing is you are sequestering a lot of carbon. If you take the mass of this plant, in an acre, we talk about 2 tons of carbon. And 2 tons of carbon, when we get there, I think it will be very helpful to others because there should be a system. And we are trying to work that out with the government as well to see how farmers will benefit for the carbon that they have sequestered, paid by those who spoil the air. These are the people who should pay us. The other thing is community-based programs like those that we endeavor with. We are training farmers, we are training groups of people with disabilities. Just imagine, those with disabilities and can do things with their hands. They are able to edge a living out of this tree. Today they are looking forward to how they are going to start small industries in their own different places. The bamboo journey is not a very easy journey. And to get something good, you have to really work. We are sweating to get something that we are very assured of, that there is future in bamboo. That is why I cling to bamboo, and I know in the end it will bring dividends to me and to others. I have trained farmers on how to grow bamboo, but there are challenges that we never had an idea about. This is food for everybody. It's food for many animals. There is nothing in bamboo that goes to waste. So when you plant, we have the mole. And I remember there's one farm where we did, and the mole have almost eaten half of what we planted. So that is one great challenge. We had to look for an answer to how to get moles away. So we were able to get mole repellent crops that are intercropped now with the bamboo. But you see, before you get there, you'll have lost a lot. You see, it's quite expensive to buy seedlings, and saying you will do it for a second time is quite a challenge. So there are some farmers who have ventured, but then they got broken-hearted along the way. That is one biggest challenge. So now we are trying to solve 2 problems at a time. The good thing with the bamboo, it doesn't have many pests as it grows. The only thing is you have to keep all the herbivores away because they love this so much. I think it's even more attractive, it's more nutritious, and that's why they have to go for it. In the forest, it is bamboo that keeps the elephants there and other herbivores. Elephants almost eat is like 90% of an elephant's food will be mostly in bamboo if they get it. So these are some of the challenges that we get. The other challenges is when you plant the wrong species in the wrong place, it will be affected by the climate in that place or the soils. But this is one tree that will do in so many soils that are around here. From the coast, there are those species that do well even in those areas, and they will do well up to a height of, like here you see we have Apadeas in Mount Kenya. Some species will grow up to like 3,000 meters above sea level. So we can say this is a very tolerant plant. From now henceforth, I think now our train has left the station already. If you can see here, we have harvested bamboo, a whole lorry. This one now will go to support another program in another farm, whereby those who see will also now grow their interest. So it's about enticing people to know the benefits. Now when they see the benefits, I am sure so many are going to ask for bamboo. Like you see your story now, I am sure now my phone will never rest because people will want to know where to get what. That is my agribusiness story. What is your agribusiness story? Share it.